that in just 2 hours with your adult daughters, three of them in my case, I learned so many different things about so many different areas. This time I kind of sat back and just listened to them chitter chatter about stuff. And oh, what I've learned. I'm going to tell you about that now. So, that at some point in your life, your roles would reverse between you and your children, and they would be the mothers kind of guiding you along in your life. Hey, it's kind of fun, isn't it? Let's talk about this. I guess it has taken me a while to realize that the transitional role reversal of a golden ager mother and her adult daughters have reversed roles. And I finally realized this on Mother's Day when my three daughters took me out for a lovely breakfast. I guess I realized it shortly after we arrived at the restaurant. And we all hadn't been together, all three daughters and myself, for quite some time, I think. And three of us seemed to arrive at the same time. We all came in separate cars. And as we parked, I know Margie and I kind of parked right in front of each other. And then 3 or 4 cars down, Colleen pulled up. And we all got out of the cars and they walked over to me, and as we were all locking up our cars, we were hugging. And one of the first things I noticed as we approached the sidewalk to the restaurant was that Margie, very quietly, without saying a word, grabbed my shoulder and my arm and just guided me up the curb. And Colleen took my hand as we started walking toward the restaurant. It kind of flashed through my mind as I realized what had just happened, and I thought, isn't that strange? 55 years ago, I would have grabbed her hand and guided her up the curb. Have you noticed any of these unusual role reversals as you are getting up there in years? I think it's kind of fun. To me, it's very endearing as well. I just love it. I don't mind it one bit. But the true fun of this day was when we came inside and there were many people waiting. And this was Saturday, it wasn't Sunday. And it was 9 o'clock in the morning, so I thought it was fairly early. But this particular restaurant is known for its great, wonderful breakfasts. And we had been going to this place for years and years and years as a family. And we all talked about that 20, 30 years ago when we had kids and grandkids all constantly getting together all the time. We would take up 20, 25 seats along these big, big benches along the back of the restaurant. But as we went inside, we looked around, and we saw Dub's car outside, but Margie said, oh, I think I see her. She's waving in the back. So she had gotten there early and happened to know one of the hostesses, I guess, and managed to snag a booth for us. So we all sat down and everybody hugged, and I would describe all of us as a pretty outgoing, very fun-loving, gabby. Any topic is okay. Nothing is off limits with my daughters when we all get together. So as we sat down and said hello, and the waitress came up, and we all said, okay, we'll have iced tea or orange juice, whatever it was. And we started gabbing, and I noticed that all the girls were kind of gabbing toward each other. Oh, I love your hair, or oh, is that a new blouse, just fun stuff, all excited to see each other, and of course, me too. I would be in there asking questions too, but I found myself enjoying listening to the three of them just going on and on and on. The first thing that came up was Margie handed me one of those Tupperware type things, quite a big one. And as you know, Margie's constantly sending food over to Moosey and I. And she sent this great big thing. And she said, "Oh, Mom, I didn't want to leave this in the car. I have some salmagundi for you." Well, salmagundi was one of our all-time favorites that I used to make almost every week when the kids were, from the time the kids were little. And it definitely was a simple meal and something I could put together fast and make a big load of it. And many's the time, not only have the kids there, but perhaps some of her friends, or perhaps sometimes friends were over, and they would just dig into that meal. And immediately Debbie said, "Oh my gosh, salmagundi. Oh, my favorite meal of all time." And it's true. Back when Debbie had her hip replacement several years ago, and she was on her way home after her hospital, I guess they stay in a day or two. And I was going over to see her as she was arriving home from the hospital. And I said, "Now, what would you like me to bring you?" She said, "I'm hungry. And how about salmagundi? I haven't had that in so long." So I knew if she requested food, that would be it. So I did make her a big thing of salmagundi. And as it turned out, I think she didn't eat anything else but salmagundi for 2 days or 3 days in a row. Well, there we sat at the table, and right away, Debbie opened up this, grabbed one of the forks that we hadn't even started breakfast. We hadn't even ordered at this point. She said, "Oh, Marge, I've got to try this." She didn't ask Margie, she didn't ask me or what. She just had to dig in. And we laughed so hard at Deb as she sat there and took 3 bites, at least 3 bites of this salmagundi. "Oh, this tastes so good." And she went on to talk about the fact that she loves it, and of course, always requested it. I don't know why she'd never made it herself. But later in the day, when we were all texting back and forth, I noticed she did request the recipe from Margie's salmagundi, which was, by the way, a little bit changed from the way I made it. Much more cheese inside. As she said, she was going for a cheesy moment, and I didn't put that much Parmesan in mine. But it was wonderful at any rate. But let me get to the 5 or 6 main things that I've learned from my daughters, and I could call them tips or secrets or whatever I want to call them. But I learned that day several things on all varied subjects. As we all ordered our breakfast and started to dig in, the chatter never stopped. We were laughing about certain things, something that somebody would bring up. We talked about everything, and I happened to have mentioned something about my past week and having a little trouble with my constitution, my barrels. And Debbie looked at me and said, "Mom, you're not on a probiotic?" And I said, "No, I take vitamins, I take collagen, but no probiotic." And she looked at me as if she was chastising me. She said, "I have taken probiotics for years. You should be having one every single day." And there she was lecturing me as a mother might lecture a child about probiotics. She said, "I am sending you a bottle of probiotics right away." And just to let you know, within 2 days, I received a bottle of probiotics, which I will show you what it is. So these are the probiotics, True Nature Women's Daily Probiotic. And you take 1 pill a day, and they're very easy to, it's a capsule. And I can't even pronounce all the good things that are in there. All sorts of taking care of your gut health, digestive and immune system health, everything that a probiotic would do. Here they are here, and they came from Amazon, and you get 90 pills, so you have a 3 month supply, and it's a nice capsule, easy to swallow, one a day, and I think they were $22.95. So there's tons of probiotics on there. For some reason or other, this is the one that Deb swears by, and I think Barry gets it for her at Costco also. So I'm on that and doing fine on it. And the one thing that she relies on it for is constipation, and I'm hoping the same myself. And by the way, I do take this along with my magnesium citrate, 200 milligrams. This is also good for constipation, and I take 1 to 2 a day, depending on how I'm doing, mostly one a day. But she went on to say that the minute she started taking them, several gals within my family have suffered with this, and she said, ever since I've been taking this, I have had no problems, totally solved the problem whatsoever. Well, you can imagine, I was elated to hear that. So I just said, oh gosh, thank you so much. So that's one thing. I also learned that Margie, one of Margie's gifts that had not arrived for me, she said, and it's still coming, was a red light therapy gadget for your face. Now, she was talking about her friend Maureen, who has had a mask for at least 3 or 4 years and uses it regularly. It really makes a difference. And Margie was citing a Mayo Clinic study that was done that the red light therapy definitely does make a difference on your face or your neck, and it, it works very well for acne or skin blemishes or dark spots or just energizing your face, tightness, etc., etc. So I have watched so many YouTube ladies use these and really didn't think anything about it. But for some reason or other, she's gotten me interested in red light therapy. And as soon as my device arrives, I guess I will be using it. And at the same time, Colleen said, I think I'm going to get one of those too. She said, I've read a lot of good things about it. So ladies, I didn't realize this, but I have learned from my daughters that perhaps red light therapy might make a difference. Do you know anything about it? How many of you use red light therapy? Who knew? At another point in the during the breakfast, they started talking about certain Netflix or movies or things that they were all enjoying and just raving about them. And one of them was The White Lotus. Now, I don't know whether many of you are familiar with this, but this is a series that was on Amazon Prime. Actually, it's HBO Prime or HBO something. And it's been running for a couple of seasons now. And Moosey and I actually started watching this. That great actress, Jennifer Coolidge, I'm sure you would recognize her if you look up her name. She's been in so many things. She was in Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon. And she's funny. She's not a young woman. She's probably a middle-aged woman, but funny. Great sense of humor, and usually acts the same in most parts. Well, I know we were attracted to it in the beginning because she was in the first, I don't know how many episodes there were in the first season, but she was one of the main characters, and we loved it. And then when we got into a second one, I noticed the characters had changed into the second season, and for some reason or other, Lucy and I stopped watching because we thought these aren't the same characters. Well, I didn't know it, but that's the way that this series works. I guess each season is a different set of characters. Well, we're back on it, and I won't say any more about it except that we are definitely enjoying it now that we know what's happening. Now, also during this 2 hour breakfast, they discussed recipes. They discussed certain things that were good for you. They discussed Mediterranean diets, and we discussed water and the pros and cons of drinking water. Too much, too little, etc. Well, I was pretty familiar with all that. We all had a fun time exchanging gifts. As a matter of fact, what we did, it was very crowded in this restaurant, and lots of gabbing and talking, and a couple of young children with loud voices, and so it was a little bit difficult to get the gist of the conversation sometimes for me when you could hear all this background. And we decided that everybody brought gifts for everyone else. And we decided that we would go outside and sit on the back of my van and exchange gifts, which we did. And I'm going to show you, Margie had the same idea I did. She had, evidently about a year ago, before the 99-cent store closed, she had bought these darling ceramic planters, and they were like those little planters that have the little areas as you go, almost like a strawberry planter. She had sprayed them different colors, and I had given her 2 years ago as a birthday present a lot of different clippings from a lot of my succulents. And Margie is also a fabulous gardener. She's like our Bonnie. And Margie had given each one of us one of these bright yellow or red. She had done two different colors in them, with all kinds of succulents planted in them, and I'll show you them. They're absolutely beautiful. Aren't these little planters darling? And what else did she had? Oh, she had something that someone at work, Margie's a school nurse, and one of the mothers had given Margie the remaining of whether she was someone who resold stuff or had a shop or closed it or whatever, but she gave Margie a big basket of jewelry, all kinds of costume jewelry and lightweight things, not heavy things, and iron-on things and whatever was in this. And she said, "Mom, why don't you take this?" Well, the girls dug into this, and they were all crouched down looking through this, and they all took some of these little necklaces and bracelets and things for the kids and the grandkids, which probably I would have wound up giving most of that away anyway. And one of my granddaughters, I think, might like all the iron-on stuff. It was sparkly stuff. So Margie had a big basket of that. Colleen had given us welcome mats, all saying different things for the fronts of our doors. Colleen gave us all mats. I love this one. I have it at the entry to our new patio, doorways, or wherever you want to put them. And she had also given me a little basket of hair things, clips and ribbons and things for when I wear my hair up. And Dubby somehow had found ceramic chickens and roosters. And of course, I think I might have told you that both Colleen and Margie have chicken coops and raise chickens and roosters. And these are darling. Mine was blue and white china because of my love for the blue and white. A lot of it I have on my mantle. And I don't know where to put that, but it was very apropos for both Margie and Colleen because of their chicken coops. Here's my chicken that Dubby gave to everyone. Actually, she probably belongs out there on my front fireplace. I just stuck her here in the bedroom fireplace, but the blue and white is pretty. We had more fun sitting on the back of my van, just exchanging all our gifts. And of course, I gave out my fairy garden gifts to them, and they were all saying, "Oh, I want this one," or "I want this one." We had such a great time. We were having trouble taking pictures of all of us together, but a lovely family was getting into their car, and Margie went up and said, "Would you mind taking some pictures of us?" So we did get a couple of pictures together. What a fun day, really. And the fact that the role reversal just sort of, I have seen these wonderful little things happen over the past couple of years, grandchildren just when they saw me struggling maybe to get up out of a chair, they would just come over and take their two hands and lift me up, not saying anything or just kind of adjust me. I've noticed grandkids just taking over, pushing Moosey's wheelchair around, and I find it so wonderful that it's so instinctive of them without us having to ask for help, that it just is something they don't mind doing. And I love the fact that even the little tiny ones will help out if they can, where they see an opening where they can do something too. But it's funny, the advice is the part that I really love, because quite frankly, sometimes these younger gals and guys know a lot about stuff. Not only entertainment and gossip. Oh, of course, we heard a lot of different gossip from them. And I love to listen to the gals just go on about one subject or another. But the role reversal of the mother becoming not the child, but a younger person, and the children becoming the ones that sort of leading the way, the ones in charge now. And it's kind of nice and makes me very proud. So Sunday we had a very quiet day. A lot of calls from all the kids, all the boys, a lot of grandkids. And we just had a lovely day. Starting today, it's a busy week for doctor appointments for both Moosey and I. I have my Quest diagnostic blood work chat with the doctor tomorrow. I have an appointment with the doctor tomorrow, and we'll go over my blood work, my A1C, diabetes, and various other things. And today, actually, it's kind of late in the afternoon. It's 4:30, and I'm sitting outside. It's still nice and sunny, but it has cooled off, by the way. But we had to drive down to Newport to the VA clinic. Moosey's hearing has definitely gone downhill over the past couple of months. And, you know, you never know whether it's his hearing getting worse or are the ear plugs, no, another name, whatever it is. It's not earplugs. He thought maybe they needed to be cleaned. Now, he has been shown how to clean them, but he thought maybe that's what it is. But definitely things are or were going downhill. And I got a lot of that, I can't hear you, and then I'd shout, and he'd say, why are you shouting? Many of you probably know that routine if you have a husband that's hard of hearing too. I mean, it is pretty frustrating, I'll tell you that. I drove down to Newport with Moosey today, midday, and they cleaned out his ears. And then one of them had a bony growth, but she said it was nothing. It's not interfering with his hearing or anything, but they wanted me to take him down to the VA clinic in Long Beach, which is a heck of a drive. And we prefer to have what we need to get done at the ear clinic in Newport Beach if we can. But they would have to go down there to remove anything that's in his ears because of this little bony growth, whatever that is. And it might hurt him, she said, or something or other. But she did clean out the earplugs, and they did clean out the one ear. And when he put them back in, he said, wow, it's like night and day. So she couldn't give him a hearing test at this point. We have to make another appointment and go down again. If this does not work and improve his hearing, that we will be going back down again for a hearing test. So on our way home, we did stop and we got ourselves one of those big El Pollo Loco, those big tostada salads with the chicken in them and avocados. So that is our supper. I'm not cooking tonight. When we eat midday, we don't have anything at night. So that's a good thing. The third wonderful thing that I learned from my daughters was somehow the subject of sleep or sleeplessness came up, and Colleen is starting to discover that. She's in her perimenopause phase, and Debbie has had problems sleeping. I don't think it bothers Margie too awfully much, but I did find out that Dub takes Tylenol PM, I think that extra strength PM, and she said she can get a good 7 or 8 hours full sleep on that. Now, she doesn't take it every night, only when she feels she wants a better sleep. I don't think her sleep is in such short segments as mine is, but that's another thing I'm going to add, except that I have been sleeping well by using my own mindfulness, my positive mindfulness. My problem is not necessarily getting to sleep; it's the waking up. And when I wake, in the past, I've always, well, after making a trip to the bathroom, coming back, I can't get to sleep again, so I'll pick up the iPad or something. Well, evidently, if you don't pick up the iPad or the iPhone, and you just pull those covers up, get into a comfortable position, and use some sort of a mind trick. The one I've been using is counting backwards from 100 down, and I can get down to 40, something like that, and I'm finding myself falling asleep. But there are other tricks too that I guess you can take, and so far, I I'm having some good sleeps. I'm up to maybe 3.5 hours at a time, and I'm falling asleep each time I might get up to go into the bathroom. So far so good on that. I'm not tired in the daytime. Some days, yesterday Monday, I had a very low energy day, and I don't know why. I did have to go out and do a little bit of shopping. Moosey needed some things at the drugstore, and I had just had a lot of trouble when I came home, just um, dragging myself around, doing what I had to do, of getting supper ready or chores that I was trying to get finished. And I don't know why you have those days, but I definitely think that as I'm approaching my 88th birthday, I do realize that I am definitely up there in years. And I was reading an article on some appropriate or nice words for a woman who is in her very elderly years. And some of the terms um, people don't like. I don't think women like elderly. At least that was this article said. And there were those slang words that I can't even, I don't even want to say some of them. Some of them appeared to be funny, but I'm sure women wouldn't want to be described as them. But I came up with one. I used um, the super ager term quite a bit. And a super ager, you know, oh, that's a helicopter coming by. Oh, I might have to stop for a minute because yeah, I'm going to stop for a minute. I quite often use the term super ager to describe myself or other people who are up in the 80s. That to me is the ultimate of aging. And, or golden ager is nice. So I'm going to refer to us as being part of the super agerhood type of aging. And when I think of all that, I realize that, yes, we are slowing down. And other than other things like arthritic problems, as you know, I'm having problems with my arthritis in my pointer finger. No, they're not pointer fingers. My flipper fingers, and I've been looking at some splints, and I think I think I'm going to try some splints for my two middle fingers to try and straighten them. That was a hint that Colleen gave me. She said she remembers when she broke her pinky that she did go out and get a splint. And we were all comparing our fingers and what they looked like. And Debbie said, you know, I've come to the conclusion, Mom, that I think I'm following you in your footsteps as to how I'm aging. So it was kind of fun talking with the girls and their different concepts of the things that are happening to them as they age. Margie has arthritis, and Debbie. I don't think it's affected Colleen too much. Now, Colleen is still in her late 40s. She's our baby. But the other girls, Margie's in her late 50s, and Debbie is the second of 6 children. So she's, I don't know, Debbie's 62 or 63, I think. So it's kind of fun being with adult children who are almost all senior citizens, and I have learned so much from them just in this past week. In the 2 hours that we spent having fun and laughs, I did learn a lot from my daughters. Now, number 4 or 5, I don't know which it is. I managed to get a few words in edgewise as they were gabbing among each other, and I was totally enjoying listening. I mentioned that I was having a trouble. Couldn't walk as far as I like anymore on long walks, and they suggested I start using the walker again. And you know, I have done that going up and down the long driveway here. It does give me more confidence, and I don't use it to lean on, but I can walk faster and with more confidence. And you know, ladies, you shouldn't be, don't worry about what people might think if you're starting to use a cane or a walker. You know, it doesn't really matter as long as you're safe, and if it makes you, if it helps with your mobility to walk a little bit longer or feel a little bit safer, please use them. Honestly, I'm enjoying the walker. And when I'm in my garden trying to walk around the plants on those pavers, a lot of the times I will use a cane, and it's one of those ones with the 4 different feet that go out. It's to me, a more stable cane, and I'm enjoying that. So Moosey and I have decided that we are going to stick with White Lotus. We've watched probably more than half the episodes in season 3, and I think this might be it. This might be the end of it. And we're watching all these characters develop and this and that, but we know something's going to happen. So we're hanging in there. How many of you watch White Lotus? Everybody was talking about it, and that's the only reason we decided to go back to it. So we picked up on that. And I think I told you about the red light therapy. So I came home after we left. The other girls had to get home. And Dub and I did our little trip to the antique store, which is right there. And it's a big, huge antique mall with lots of little stalls. The prices are fabulous. And Debbie and I had our wonderful time again. We just had so much fun once again, just going all through this. I did get kind of tired as we wandered through. Fortunately, I had my water and I kept drinking. But we did pick up a couple of things, which I think I could show you. The cutest thing of all, I did get this vintage little tiny pink dress, which I have to show you. Will you look at this little dress? It's a vintage dress. And look at the ribbons, the way this is all put together. Is this gorgeous or what? With a little lining to it. It's all net and ribbon, all put together, real fluffy, and a little rose right here at the waist. Up here, it has little puff sleeves and lace, and it is vintage. And I picked this up at the antique mall, and we're going to see Jenny in 2 weeks on our way home from a Memorial Day weekend down in San Diego. And Jenny lives down there in Temecula, and we're going to stop by and see little Charlie Jane for the first time, our granddaughter Jenny's baby, and I thought you'd love to see this. I was stopped 3 times by ladies as I walked around with this in my hand, and they just had to examine it and feel it. It drew so much attention. The sun is going down and it's getting kind of late. Debbie just called and we had a talk for about half an hour, so I've used up some of my time here. And I asked her, what else did I learn from you? Try and think, because I came home from this thinking, wow, isn't it funny how at some point in your life you are not the educator of your children, that you can learn things from some of your young daughters. You know, it's the different generations that in certain areas they actually might know a lot more than we do about certain things. So I hope you all did have a wonderful Mother's Day. It was a wonderful time for me too. This video might be a little bit late. I might not get it out on time because I do have to take a few pictures of things, and probably have some more things that I wanted to talk about. But I came outside mainly because it is beautiful. That heat of 100 degrees the last 3 days was awful, and I said to Moose, wow, you have to be careful what you wish for. When we had all that May gray going with the drizzles in the morning, I thought, when is this going to end? Well, it did. And here we are. And I am not ready. Ooh, I could take off my sunglasses now, I think. You know, I've had my makeup on since 9 o'clock this morning, and it's 4 o'clock now. I can't even see how it is. I did put a little extra lipstick on. By the way, I did go back to a darker, my hands are even getting chilly. I did go back to a darker color on my hands because I did order 2 more iced amethysts. I read an article that they gave 5 or 6 different colors of lipsticks that are supposed to be good for mature women. And guess what was on the list? Revlon's iced amethyst that I have been using for, what, years now. Isn't that funny? Now, you would think it would be lighter lipstick, but it turned out it's the darker one. So, thanks so much for listening and watching. I thought you would enjoy this. Tell me, all of you, in your comments, if you would like to, about situations that you are having with your children. It can be sons or daughters, or even grandchildren, where you are finding, as you are aging and maturing, that the roles have reversed, and we are now on the, I won't say child, because they're not treating us like children, but they are taking a much more nurturing, motherly role without us all even know it's happening. And you know what? I kind of like it. It's nice to know that somebody's looking out for you, isn't it? Thanks so much for watching, for binging and enjoying all our back videos. For those of you, when you don't have anything else to do and I'm not putting a video out every day, go back and watch some of the old ones. You know, I've realized that my videos have just been all so varied. I really often wonder about that niche thing that all the tutorials, YouTube tutorials, tell you about. Find a niche and stay with it. You know, my subscribers has not grown for quite a while now. I know my viewership goes up, but not the subscribers. And I just wonder, should I niche down a bit? Should I maybe stick with the makeup and the hair again? I don't know. Or just gabbing away with you, my friends. I think I like this. And I know so many of you have said, just keep doing what you're doing. So I think I am going to do that, my friends. I'll see you real soon again. Thanks so much for being here with us. Moosey and I really appreciate it. And by the way, Moosey does say hi to all of you. Bye for now. Love you, and God bless us all.